The boy is alone as he stares out into the horizon. Panic and chaos ensue as a mother hides away her son from danger. As he hides, the screams of people running and the mysterious gunfire from afar overwhelm him until it just stops. The boy walks past hundreds of corpses trying to find his mother, but what he finds is unsettling. The boy instinctively tries to put her back together with whatever he can find, but in reality, the boy's mother was dead. She had been standing by his side just a few moments ago, but she was now lying on the ground, lifelessly. To the boy, it felt like the end of his world, and it was. This is the beginning of a manhwa written by Jung Ji-hoon. The Horizon centers around a boy meeting a young girl, bound together by their trauma, as they keep moving forward to find a heaven. With just 21 chapters, this series has gotten a strong reputation for not being only tragic, but also what some may call a masterpiece. So today, let's go through what makes this series so special in the eyes of the readers. As time passed, the boy was lost in thought. He stood on his feet and began to walk, as that was all he could do. One day, the boy discovered a nice place to sleep in an abandoned school bus in the middle of the plains. However, whenever he laid his head to sleep, all he could think about was war, the brutal violence over and over again. Then one morning, he met a young girl. The two watched each other in silence. The boy wanted to say something. He couldn't bring himself to say anything, and neither could the girl. The silence was interrupted by an explosion, shattering the glass window of the bus. Military men and citizens were fighting, with explosion appearing between them. The boy grabbed the girl's hand and ran away. They kept running until they got caught in between the warfare. The boy questioned what drove the world to this, and if giving up was the answer to it. The girl's cry brought them back to reality, and for some reason, the boy grabbed her hand and continued to run. They run as far as they can, and they successfully escaped and found an abandoned road, and from then on, two began a journey as they kept moving forward. The boy and the girl had been walking for days when they ran into a very strange man. For some reason, the boy was terrified of the strange man. That wasn't the case for the young girl. The strange man cheered and started following them from a distance. Nevertheless, the boy was overcome by anxiety and fear, and so began to plot their escape from the strange man. They planned to run away while the strange man was sleeping. Things were going smoothly until an explosion from afar woke up the man. When he noticed they were gone, he began to chase them. With tears rolling down his eyes, he desperately grabbed the girl and continued crying. After this, the strange man would refuse to go to sleep in fear that they would try to leave him again. The strange man would eventually have to sleep, so the boy waited. Days after days passed, and the man finally collapsed. The boy wants to leave, but the girl feels sorry for the strange man, so the boy lets him join them on their journey, even though he still doesn't trust the strange man. Days go by, and the boy's fear is still strong enough to even think about using a knife on the man. One night, the girl apologizes to the boy about the strange man. She then asks him to live a long life with her in a world where people wouldn't hurt each other or feel any loneliness. The boy thinks about it. A world where no one can get hurt, where no one feels hatred or loneliness. A world where the boy and the strange man can develop a friendship. This resulted in the boy trying to build a relationship with the strange man for the sake of the girl. It seemed to be working until one day the man walks up to them and punched the boy in the face. The strange man pins the girl down as he touches her while he takes off his pants. The boy then charges into the man, stabbing him in the chest and in his back. The boy grabs the girl's hand and they run away once again, moving forward on the road. The two kids continued to walk without mentioning what had happened. Suddenly, the tranquilizer dart hit them both, rendering them unconscious. Unbeknownst to the kids, they had been kidnapped and put in a truck filled with armed men, heading to a nearby city. The city has been looted and abandoned, except for a sniper taking out some of the men in the truck. Explosions and gunshots take out each armed man guarding the truck, with the last man getting taken out by a man in a suit. The two woke up in a mysterious room with the man in a suit taking care of them. The man in the suit was a quiet man, but a helpful one as well. He bandaged up their wounds and fed them food. However, he asked for some help in return. The help is simple. Whenever they see someone suspicious or with a weapon on some cameras, they have to use the walkie-talkie to tell the man where they are. Whenever someone suspicious entered the city, the boy would tell the man the screen number, and the man in the suit would kill them with either a sniper rifle or explosives. The boy and the girl decide that when he heals up, they will return to the road. But before that, the boy has to learn how to use a gun, and the girl doesn't want to help in the killings, so she helps cook the meals with the man in the suit. We then see that the man in the suit explains that the world has come to this way due to man being governed by other things, and books help people think independently without being governed by anything else. But he doesn't have much time left, since the man in the suit is supposedly dying. Later, we find the man in the suit as he teaching the boy how to kill a person. The man tells the boy that he was one of his kidnappers. The man expecting some kind of reaction, however, the boy hesitates and shoots the man in the leg. The boy thinks that he's no longer a threat to them anymore. We then swap over to the girl as she's following a trail of blood, heading towards a dark storage filled with food. The trail ultimately leads her to a room with hanged bodies and chopped limbs. In another room, she finds an unknown man locked up by the man in the suit. He asks her to release him and pressure the girl into doing so. However, she makes a plan to release him at night so they don't get caught by the man in the suit. That night, the girl tells the boy about what she found. They go to check the unknown man, but all they find is an empty room. He's escaped, and the man in the suit confronts the two. Thankfully, it was all part of the man's plan, so they take some resources and leave the city, leaving the man in a suit alone on top of a building. On the road, trucks filled with armed men heading to the city. The trucks see the kids, but the unknown man, who turns out to be their leader, tells them to leave them be. As the trucks enter the city, we see the man in a suit with a picture of his family in his hands. He then blows up the entire city, killing him and all the armed guys. The boy and the girl resume their journey on the road once more. The girl and the boy continue their journey until a rainstorm hits and they take shelter in the woods. The boy becomes sick and it reminds the girl of her past. The next couple of chapters give us a flashback of the little girl with her dad in a bus filled with people we never met. Although we don't get any explanation on who they were before the war, we see that they start working together in order to survive. The small group focuses on survival, looting places while continuing their trek forward. The old man in the group is clearly sick with an infectious disease, so the group makes a decision to kick him out of the bus and leave him to die. But it's already too late, as it's most likely the whole group is infected as well. Nevertheless, they continue to move forward while gradually but steadily loses faith. The writer of the group loses all hope, thinking about his past life being gone, never to be experienced again. He then leaves the group, waiting to die alone. Another member is thinking about their life having no meaning, so at night she sneaks out to end her life in the woods. The mother has grown sick, but the father doesn't want to give up. He doesn't want to give up hope of her chance of survival. But the mother father surrenders and leaves the baby behind with the girl as the mother and father leave the group with a sentimental goodbye. Eventually, the father gets sick as well and has to leave the group. As the rest of the crew slowly withers out, only the girl is left. However, her loneliness isn't long-lived. A few days later, the girl meets a boy. The flashback ends as the girl and the boy continue on their journey, stumbling upon a field full of flowers. The boy asks the girl if, when they grow older, they would get married. The girl says yes and thinks about their future together. As they continue to move forward, they are finally happy. And the two, they wish that this would last forever. As they reach the end of the road, even with the road ending, they continue to move forward through the woods. They eventually encounter another boy and girl duo. Instinctively, both of the boys pull out their guns and aim at each other. They both scream out to put down their guns, but it was to no avail since the other boy spoke a different language. Both girls told them to lower their guns, telling them that it was okay. For a second, there was still hope. The momentary peace was interrupted by a missile as it detonated close. It killed the other boy and the young girl. The world has stopped for the boy yet again. His newly found reason to keep going had gone away in the blink of an eye. Almost instantly, the other girl points the gun at her head and pulls the trigger, and the boy is soon to follow. He entertains the idea in his head, but ultimately throws the weapon aside and reflects on the body in front of him. Eventually, he got back up and kept moving forward until he reached the horizon. After balling up all his trauma and pain, he finally broke down by the sea. He cried and cried until he passed out on the sand as a military force entered from the beach. A soldier checked up on him. Decades go by and the boy has already grown up, living in a house in the middle of the beach. Time passes and the boy is ready to accept that he's going to die alone. His trauma from the war still haunts him every night. In his dreams, he sees himself in the middle of the ocean, still kicking in fear of drowning. One day, he sees tracks heading towards the woods. He follows it and discovers a yellow tent where a couple that speaks a different language is staying. This couple reminded him of the boy and the girl that he encountered many years ago. After reminiscing, he decided to just leave them alone. But the couple tries to be nice and bring him some food. The boy, who already got old, tries to brush them off nicely, but they insist. The boy and the couple start to grow closer. They fish, draw, and play cards. Even he teaches them his language. But the boy is still afraid because everything is futile. He is scared to live and scared to die, and there will become a day when they must part away. But the couple has faith in the love that they share. The couple is about to welcome their first child into this tragic world. But they have hope that the child will be a happy child. No matter what, their love was interrupted by a giant wave dragging the husband into the sea. The boy just stands there as the woman cries for her husband. This is their reality that cannot be changed. Crying is all that they can ever do, except the boy can never accept that. Without thinking, he charges straight to the sea to save the husband. He reaches down to grab the husband's hand. He sees his younger self drowning. He hugs the man and tries to go back up, but he thinks even if they go back up, what lies ahead wouldn't be much worth living for. But the boy is beginning to believe in love. He goes back up, and above the horizon, the sun rises. Years later, the couple's baby was born and grew into a young lady. She calls the boy Grandpa as they adventure along the sand. This story ends with the boy leaving to fish for the family on the beach as he finally finds peace and happiness.